All right, we are live. Hope everybody had a great trading day today. Let me get this tweeted out here. One second. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Good, good, good. Well, I hope everybody had a wonderful trading day. So, good. Before we get started with what we're going to talk about today, we're going to talk about continue our discussion on understanding chart patterns and or option charts. And today we're going to talk about patterns. So, before we get started, take a moment to review this disclaimer. Obviously, everything we're going to talk about is for educational purposes only and non-investment advice. All right, let's take a look and see where we're at. Well, the S&P futures were down, I don't know, 17 points a little bit ago, and they just got a spike here. Let me get this pulled. I'm trying to find this. Here we go. We just got a spike here, and it looks like, who knows? We might be green by the open. So pretty incredible. Almost faded the gap here from the move down. So pretty impressive stuff. I think it was basically just the what was it? The Chinese vice premier said he's cautiously optimistic about trade deal, a phase one trade deal, and so there you go. All right. Anyway, so the shenanigans continue. Yeah, yeah, the vice premier. So anyway, let's take a look and see where we're at with the market. So SPX. Let's hopefully this loads up for us here. All right, so yeah, so SPX again coming off the monthly hammer, right? We see the weekly chart spinning top off the upper Bollinger Band, and today was the interesting one. If you guys caught the market recap today, basically kind of went over this, right? This is really important stuff, right? So this is the macro trend line for SPX, right? Today was the first day that we put like a little bit of a ding in the armor on this upward trend line, right? We finally pushed a little bit below it, right? Now we came up to it, right? Kind of finished with a little bit of a hanging man or a red hammer here, right at the upper trend line. So what does this mean? Does this mean that we're going to flush and head to enter into a new bear market? Not necessarily. All we know is that we filled a gap today, right? Both an open and a closing gap here, right? And we came up off of it, right? So I mean, there's other gaps below. There's an open gap down here that could be eventually filled, right? There's other gaps down here that'll be eventually filled, right? So. But right now, all we know is it's starting to show a little bit of weakness. Now, again, being down 17 points at one point tonight, just in general, is that there's a lot of weakness showing right in the market. Like it seems to be surprising to the downside, right? So that's why we've been very, very cautious kind of going into this. But one of the things to look at is just comparing to the previous trend lines of when we started to break down last time, right? So here was the weakness in the armor last time, and it went all the way up, right? I mean, basically it closed at like 29.92. It went all the way up to 3006. It's almost a 15-point move before beginning to chop and then work its way down. This one here is the weakness in the armor. It gapped up again the next day and then flushed on the way down, right? This one here was even worse. Right? It was down a little bit, kind of closed below it with a lower shadow, and then gapped up huge the next day, right? And then it worked its way down. So just kind of keep that in mind that who knows, we might gap up, and if we do push new all-time highs, what's that gonna do is let's say we push to like 3130, that's gonna shift the trend line, right? So then we kind of start back at square one with that. So just keep that in mind. We need to see how we close tomorrow, right? Or we need to see how we open. We also need to see how we close. Okay. Geometric trend line or geometric pattern here. I don't know why it always jumps off of this for some reason, but anyway. So geometric pattern, we're above the macro channel that we've been tracking here, right? Filled the gap today, came up off of it, but we're still holding this channel area, right? So we'll see how we go. We got a reaction line coming up around the December timeframe. Okay. Let's take a look at the price action from today. Today was November 20th, so let's see. We have this going on here. So this is the price action today. So it was pretty, a little bit bearish this morning. Right? We gapped down this morning. We chopped. Right? It tried to fill the gap today. It couldn't do it, but we just chopped. And look how compressed it got here. Anytime you see something like this, like a normal day, you see like some movement, right, up, down, a little bit of chop, up, down. Even that was a choppy day yesterday too. If you guys look at the vol SPD, you guys can, totally see that, right? So what does this mean today? Right, what does this mean? This means that, right, this consolidation right here is very significant, right? Like it was quiet today, right? Like, and then you could kind of say too quiet for a little bit, right? We got really compressed here, and then the news came out. You see, so the market was gearing up for this, right? The market was gearing up for something, right? There's a reason that it was kind of choppy. So these are things to take note of. Like now, it is frustrating. We sit there as traders. Sometimes we're like, "Oh man, this market's really boring." Not when the volatility, right? Not when the VIX is as crazy as it's been, right? So in a normal market, yeah, it's boring, right? In this market, like that's completely, tweet driven and news driven, right? When you see something like this, something's coming, right? It almost makes sense to get a straddle, right? And so let's take a look at that. So let's kind of talk a little bit about, um, let's talk a little bit about patterns, right, on option charts. So this is one thing that we could look at today. So let's say right here we're sitting at, say 31. 31.13, right? So the 31.10s are pretty close. 31.15s are a little bit closer. So let's take a look at the 31.15 straddle. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to pull up an option chart here of those, and let's say we're getting really compressed here in a market like this. Okay, so let's say around 12.30 we're like, let me get a straddle. I think this thing's about to move, right? So what we do is it goes out SPXW 1911. Today was an expiration day, so we get the calls, right? So we get the 31.15 calls. Right, and the cool thing about Thinkorswim is you can add these together and actually pull a chart up for the straddle, right? So you go like that right here, and then you put one in for the puts, okay? And this will show you the straddle chart, okay? So this is the calls plus the puts. You add them together and you get a straddle. Just like if you buy a straddle, at the money, you buy the calls and the puts, and you're good. Okay, so now let's see what happened at 12:30 with these. Okay, so we can see a little bit of a pattern here. We see the compression, see a little bit of a triangle. We're expecting some expansion after that. So now let's look and see what the straddle did at that time. Okay, so right here, right on the option chart, it's when you guys read straddles, just ignore the upper shadows, right? Just look at the real bodies right here, right? So right around 12:30, if we got in here, right? If we got in here, right at 12:30, right, we could have got straddles for about $5.86. Okay, so if we waited 30 minutes on those straddles, right, they would have went as low as let's see, it looks like $5.52. Ignore these low ticks right here. Those are market orders for those are kind of market. So basically, we were floating around, just kind of chopping around. Okay, and then look at that, $5, boom. Within 30 minutes, $25, just having a straddle before that. Now, I'm not saying go and buy straddles every time the market is compressed. All I'm saying is that there was a high probability that there was a move right now. There's a lot of rules that come with straddles. You have to limit orders, right? They're very risky. They're expensive, right? So I'm not just saying go do that, but I'm saying that this kind of implies that something is about to happen, right? Especially in a high volatility market. Okay, and then obviously that triggered, hit the Riku level, a few levels, and that happened. So pretty cool stuff. These are things that we look at. A couple other things, just to keep in mind that I kind of want to touch on the option charts. So if we look at the, I'm trying to see try to think of anything right here. So even here, right, when you have a like a tweezer bottom, right, so off of a key level, right. So if we want to go long here, so we look at those, and we can also look at those on the option chart itself, okay, and among other patterns. So let's look at those. So we'll look at those, the 22s. Let's look at the calls. We'll look at the 31.15s again. All right, and though that was at 10:25. Okay, so 10:25, you can see that pattern was very similar here on the option chart too. Now, the reason that it wasn't perfect is because of the theta decay today, right? Today's an expiration day. But look what happened there. Off of that tweezer pattern right there on the option chart, and go from level to level. We talked about levels yesterday. $9.43, right, to $10.86, just off of that pattern right there. Okay, the further out of the money you go, right, the cheaper they're going to be. But that's still pretty good. Over a 1.5 on that. If we did, say, the 31.20s at that time, a little earlier in the day, the pattern's going to look a little bit different, right, because it's a little more out of the money. So we'll see if that pulls up for us. Okay, it does. So $6.80 all the way up to $8.20. Okay, so and then we can do that with a lot of different things, right? So we could do, like, for instance, we could look at the option charts too for other patterns. We could look at the we could look for 2V reversals, just different things like that. Any type of patterns that you would normally see on the stock chart too, you could also look for those on the option chart as well. So again, this would actually kind of be like an inverted kind of cup and handle right here, right? You have your cup here, you have your handle there, and then boom to the downside, right? And then you have you're under the cloud the entire time too, so that kind of inspired for a downside move. So anyway, at this point, if anybody has any questions or chart requests, please feel free to play those in the chat window. We'll get through as many as we can, and I hope you guys find that helpful. And we'll try to wrap up by 10:30, so at the latest, so we can all get a good night's sleep and have an awesome trading day tomorrow. And we'll see if any more tweets come out or anything like that by tomorrow to try to get this market green in the morning. Otherwise, maybe we have a red open. So anyway, good stuff. So a few things, a few came in here. So Shirley sent me some chart requests here. So let's go to the daily chart. Okay, so the first was CBOE. Okay, so CBOE is obviously looking pretty bullish here. Nice. So I'm going to okay. Sorry, I just had a DM come through there. Okay, so yeah, so basically, Shirley, this is looking pretty good. Bullish until proven otherwise on that one. So nice strong day today. AES. AES, yeah, nice hammer today. So I'm always a little bit cautious on hammers at highs because they often turn into hangman. But to see how that holds, it's bullish until proven otherwise, and holding the fib fan line and the upward trend line. AMTD. Like the rest of its cohorts in this sector, it is pretty impressive of that move down. A couple bullish days. Here's a pretty good one here. This is a good one after earnings. It's kind of worked its way up a little more sideways to the cloud, a little not as exciting as EFTC or SCHW, but I do like how it's at the cloud right here, Shirley, with a bullish candle. Let's see if we can break out of there for you. Okay, TWO. I don't think this is the one. Maybe did you want take two? I'm not sure on that. I'm gonna skip that one, Shirley. Sorry, I just not really sure what you were saying. 'Cause I think you had like targets of like 300 or something. But we'll skip that one. It's okay. And then SPLK could be interesting. Just remember, it's got earnings tomorrow after the close. Okay, so it is looking bullish. I actually wanted to swing this long too today, and then I was like, I don't really feel like swinging it. Expensive premiums are high and into earnings, so just be careful going into earnings on that one. But great stuff. Delta Trader, what's happening? CRM. Let's take a look. Yeah, so CRM, big upper shadow today. Just be real careful with this one. Right, so we have that here, this here, right? So a little bit, again, this also showed a little bit of a ding in the armor here. So look, if it has a bearish close tomorrow, watch for a possible reversal happening on CRM here. LRCX. LRCX had a bearish day yesterday, right? Maribozu day. It came down off of the inside day, right? So we had a little bit, I think you might see it here in a minute. I had a little, there it is, a little bit of a channel, kind of bull flag type work right here. It's going to kind of come back and retested those right here. So I'm not saying it's bullish at this time or bearish, just keep an eye on it. I mean, here's basically your trend line from the gap up from here, right? So for me, it would have to still have to close bearishly below those levels, but it's starting to, it's starting to get a little bit kind of tired up here. BA. Inside day closed over the 200-day moving average, so I guess they had some good plane sales in Dubai. So on this, even sold some 737 Max, I guess. But anyway, so that gave it a little bit of a boost today. But we'll see if it could hold up, this trade stuff. So Max, what's happening? Good evening. Thanks for tuning in. Harvey, what's going on? How are you, my friend? I hope you had a great day today. Akshay, PayPal, nice one. So PayPal, this is a great idea. That you had mentioned earlier today. So I like how it came off of the cloud right here. So very, very weak, right? And then we could see after hours it was like acquired some $4 billion thing. And so now it's down nicely, and then it should be down again with the market too, as long as the market stays down. So that was a great idea there on the short side. Doc Admin, team, hope you're doing well, man. Team, upper shadow here. Nice move today, but upper shadow off of the cloud, so that could run some resistance. It's between the cloud and the 200-day moving average, so just give it some time to maybe squeeze through the cloud over here. But it is getting out of this macro channel. And NetEase, little earnings after hour that were kind of wild. I think it was down at first, and I think it's still down a little bit. But it's kind of been working its way down. There's an upward trend line here, macro, that should pop up right there. That it's holding, and then let's see how it's looking after hours here. So yeah, big spike down after hours and looks kind of choppy into the open possibly tomorrow, but we'll see. Not sure how much it's affected by Chinese trade talks, but if it is, then that could definitely be affected being a Chinese name. Session, pump it up. Exactly. Actually, NetEase too. Nice. Yeah, we just looked at that. So, Fat Hat, what's going on? Thanks for tuning in. Paul, hey, what up? Fast ES reversal, yeah, it is. And then now it's kind of just chopping around here. So, MTN VR, this China trade stuff is ridiculous and getting tiresome. I agree. It really makes it hard to take any sort of traditional swing trade with any sort of confidence. It is exhausting. It is exhausting. So even intraday, even intraday. But some of the stuff just, some of the technical stuff just really shows us how it consolidated earlier and then made that move. So very interesting stuff there. Sean, what's going on? Thanks for tuning in. AAXN, let's take a look. Whoa, big move today. Got out of this level too. I like it. Wow. We looked at this one recently, right? Got over that macro trend line. Whoa, what happened? Lost it. Got out of the macro trend line, right? And then it closed above this minor pivot level right here. Very, very strong on AAXN. I don't know what they do, and I don't know how their options look. They're not horrible, but we take a look at it there. I'm going to actually put that on the game plan for a bullish idea. Nice one. Okay, let's take a look at the next one. AVLR. Okay, this one's still bullish, right? A lot of bullish stuff going on right here. Watch for some resistance here off of that guy. Okay, and you have cloud resistance right here. Okay, there's your cloud. So watch for that for potential resistance right there. Otherwise, bullish. If we can get through those. Good. MTN VR, what's up? FedEx and UPS, yes, thank you. So FedEx was on my short radar this afternoon. I did not take a position on it, but I like it. The only reason I didn't take a position is because it's right at support right here. Right where that last buying pressure. Oh, I already have a line up there. So right at that buying pressure. I love the setup. I love the volume. I love the bearishness. I love how it closed over all these levels. I just don't like that it's right there. So if we can get, you can see I already drew a line right here when I was explaining it earlier. If it could close bearishly below these levels, even, and then have even a little bit more volume, then we could see a move possibly to fill this gap here. Okay? And then UPS. This is just as bearish too. I like this one on the short side even better, right? Because this one really looks like it could get to the cloud and possibly go down. The only thing I didn't like was it had a little less volume than yesterday, and I think that was the only reason I passed on it. But other than that, it looks bearish for sure. In fact, that's going on the short radar for tomorrow. Okay. Very nice. What else? Message for review. Hey, Ann, how's it going? Glad you could tune in. If I could find your, there we go. J&J. I'm a perma short on J&J, so I refuse to take bullish positions on it. But it did have a nice close today. Inside day up and closed above this pivot right here. Okay, so that's looking pretty good, and it's over the 200-day moving average. So that's nice on J&J. VLO. This one held very similar to what looked like was going on with FedEx there. This one actually held the support and came up off of it. So just kind of keep an eye on that there. GS. Yeah, so this one actually, let's see, I think the trend line should pop up right here. This one showed a little bit of weakness today, but couldn't really get any lower or close bearishly below this level right here. So you can see it's got some, support right there. And then Mickey D's. Gosh, this is consolidating so much. Let's redo our wave count, Paul. Maybe, just maybe, instead of an expanded flat or running flat, maybe we're working on a wave 4 here on an impulsive move down, right? So 1, ABC, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4. Now I know it's really tight, but it could work. And then 5 for a wave 5 down. Maybe. So interesting stuff. Experience and thoughts. Good evening, Matthew. Good evening. Good to see you guys. Experience and thoughts. Apple. Oh yeah. How can we get through this night without looking at Apple? So Apple's tricky, guys. I know for a fact. Well, I don't know how much of. I don't know what's real or what's not real, but fake ticks. Right? Because if you go to the daily chart on this day, or the intraday chart on the 31st, right, it only went down to like 242. And then the daily tick shows you even lower. So I just drew the trend line from here, but today it started to really kind of break down below it. You know, uh, I would like to have seen it have closed without the lower shadow, and then I would have been like, okay, maybe let's try this, right? But Apple should be interesting. SPY, lower shadow, again, very similar to SPX, right? I don't know if I have a trend line on this one. Yeah, so right there, so lower trend line right there, or little breakout right there. Let's see if it closes bearishly below that. Increase volume, right, and then maybe it'll work its way to the cloud. And then Netties, we just looked at that a little bit ago, but Netties, you know, what's interesting though is it held this macro trend and it did push down after earnings. The earnings, now it's kind of holding again. So if it continues to hold that trend, right, this trend line right here, it could get bullish and give it like a, you know, a nice reversal tomorrow. TGT, Epic today, guys. Epic Gap and Go. We talked about this on the recap videos. We walked through it, explained it on the live stream this morning, and you know, really what we saw here at the open was this, right? We held our pre-market box levels with a nice hammer, and then to the upside right there. So that was just an incredible move. You know, good profit right there. It could, if you could held for the rest of the day, it could have caught a little bit more of it, but just an epic move today. I would expect it to get more upside. You can see I already have an alert on it. So if we close above, if we push above today's highs, we might get a momentum move up. Target did not care about trade news today. Costco, you know, looking a little bit weak, you know, as well. The macro trend line is, let's wait for it to pop up right here. Way down here. So we still have some cloud right here. I'd like to see it pull back to the cloud, and then maybe we can catch like a reversal up on it. That's kind of what I'm looking for. Okay. Superstar, what's going on? Thank you. Google, yeah, absolutely. So Google, lots of weakness here in Google today. So, you know, kind of started here at its recent highs, and then I'm not sure if I got, there we go, trend line right there. So first kind of initial breakdown, just like SPX. It held its fib fan line here too. So again, let's see if it can close bearishly below that with some little extra volume on that as well. Okay, and then maybe it will work its way down to the cloud. Okay, good. Robin, good evening. Thank you for tuning in. Disney, let's take a look. How can we go without looking at Diz and QQQ? I don't know. We have a bull flag working right here, it looks like. So so let's see what handles it. It rejected the top today. It might come back down to the bottom and give us another opportunity for a long. But, you know, so far it's pretty bullish. Tesla. Yep, kind of working its way up here. Nice moves, you know, big move yesterday and then a big reversal today. On Tesla is the weakest, was the strongest one yesterday and weakest one today. So what does that mean? It means, well, it's right at the trend line, just below the upper trend line right here. We could actually adjust that today a little bit. There. So see if it closes below today's lows, but it's pretty much holding trend still. Okay, QQQ. Very similar to SPX, but I think it's actually a little bit more bullish. Nope, sorry, the angle didn't look right here. Yep, so it's still got to close below these levels right here. So it held that as support a little bit. Yep, my pleasure. Hope you're doing great. Enjoy Life Apparel. Good evening. Good to see you. Paul, what's going on? V, possible triangle breakout? Maybe, let's see. Yeah, a little. I like the, you know, I kind of like the little W bottom right here. Oh, it's already kind of showing it here, but you can kind of see the W right here, right? So I like that kind of breakout, and I like the consolidation. You know, had like a little bit of a setting triangle right here, right? Nice breakout bar yesterday, and it's held it pretty well today. So let's see if it can push above yesterday's highs. Good. Session. What's happening? UNP. UNP, wow, nice catch on that one. So pretty bearish here. You know, a macro trend line is tough to draw from that level, but we are seeing it holding some levels right here. So just be careful with that. Baidu. little reverse magnetism there off of the 200-day moving average. It seems to be kind of chopping its way down. If the market is still bearish in the morning, it might kind of flush and try to fill that gap a little bit. KMB. Pretty bullish there. I like this close over Monday's high. Not quite increasing volume, but still pretty bullish here off of the 200-day moving average. CMG. CMG, you gotta love that bounce here off the 200, right? It was also a fib fan line as well, so it's looking pretty bearish. Nice little kind of like a mini hot dog pattern right there, a little cocktail weenie pattern. But it's holding this this support here pretty well. So let's see if we can continue to work its way up to the cloud. And AMD. AMD's just been epic. Gosh, good swing opportunity here, and then just really kept working its way up. Pretty impressive. Doc Admin, no one has a question about Netflix? Well, we were waiting for you. Netflix, let's take a look here. So yeah, very nice. It's working its way up. Let's see if this kind of comes up here. You can see what I'm really focusing on. As bullish as it is, right? Look at this resistance right here and from here, right? So right now it's kind of a little bit of an ascending triangle, but I wouldn't be surprised if it worked its way back down here first and then tried to break out of that level. So that's something to keep an eye on as well. Doc Admin, yeah. So okay, so yes, in Netflix. Okay, right, exactly. And Twilio. Let's see. So we had a nice move today. So let's see if we can close above these highs and get a move up to the cloud. That's what we're looking for. Yeah, we're all watching Disney Plus. That's right. That's what's going on with Netflix. That's funny. LOL. Yeah, just kidding. Just kidding. Yeah, all good. Let's see. Where do we go? I lost everybody here. Okay, Alex, what's happening? Good to see you. GDX. GDX. Okay, so just be careful with this. It's kind of running up into the cloud right here, but it just needs a bullish. I think if it closed bullishly in the cloud, we could see a little bit of a move up. Cron. Good volume in the pot sector these last couple days. Kind of came down after earnings here, so it's starting to look, pretty bullish. I'd like to see just a little bit better of a closing candle. Right now, it could be a little bit of kind of a doji sandwich there, but I'd like to see a closing candle strong, and then we could see if it works its way up to the cloud. Beyond, I can tell you, we looked at this at the close today. It's just been so choppy at these levels. It seems to be no one cares anymore about it, right? Volume's coming down, chop is going up. So let's see what it does when it gets to this trend line right here. We'll definitely be looking. In fact, let me get an alert on that, because I haven't been focusing on it every day like I should. Okay. And gosh, did this go down again today? No, it didn't. It actually finished it up a little bit today. That's pretty funny. This thing just got so beat up. So I'm not saying it's bullish right here, but it did try to hold itself up a little bit. Amazing. Little relief bounce on it. Wendy, good morning. Hope you're doing well. CMG, we just took a look at it, but I'm happy to pull it up again. Closing above this right here, right? So it's looking pretty bullish as it holds these levels. So let's see if we can get some upside movement on that. Okta. Okta with a just beautiful move right here. I mean, it is looking really strong. Not as much volume as would like to have seen, but it's looking pretty good. It really looks like it's screaming up to those higher levels there. I like this. Really should have gotten long, and we tried to look at it. I think it was just a little expensive that day, but nice. It's more expensive now. Nice close above all of those levels. It got out of the cloud. It really was a pretty close that day. So Okta's looking pretty good. And then HD. Oh, HD got just decimated today and yesterday. Right, but what did it do? Where did it go? So the only reason I didn't short it today, same reason I didn't short FedEx, and you'll see it pop up here probably in a second. Oh no, it didn't show up, so I just pointed it out. I must have simply pointed it out earlier. But yeah, right there at that prior support right there. So it went right to support. So I wouldn't be surprised if it gave a little bounce off of that. Okay, CDNS. working its way up at the cloud, kind of coming through the cloud wall right here, but it is following the that 200-day moving average up, so that could be interesting. And AVLR. Again, yeah, we looked at this a little bit earlier too. It's just got to get over those levels there. So good, yeah, my pleasure. Big Rob, what's going on? Hey, it's my pleasure. Yeah, we do it every market night, so please subscribe on YouTube when you get an opportunity so you can tune in when you like and also catch some of the cool videos that we do. CGC, glad you asked. So CGC, well, look at the volume these last couple of days, right? Big one on earnings, another big one today. It's coming out of this, this minor trend right here, right? The only concern I have is it's right at this macro channel line right here, right? It hasn't got over that yet. So that is interesting. And the channel actually shifts a little bit because we put in a fresh low here. You can look at it however you want to. It makes it look like a bad channel. But anyway, the trend line shifts, right? This is a trend line here. So what that means is essentially is that there's like a macro resistance right there. So there's actually a lot of resistance here for CGC. But if they can get over it after hours, it could be a sneaky way to do it. So it's at 1850 right now, right? 1850 doesn't quite cut it. It just puts it in kind of this potential danger zone. So just be careful with that. But yeah, thanks for tuning in. Session TLT. Whoop. Yeah, big move up today. It's trying to get up to the cloud here and it's kind of up a bit after hours, right? But it's looking pretty good there. So it definitely makes you concerned about the market a little bit. TCL Tan, what's going on? Good evening. Thanks for tuning in. And my pleasure, Alex, IGLD. Really super duper choppy in there, so I just be careful with that one. And REKR, unless there's some news after hours or something, but I wouldn't even mess with it if there's not. Recor, just kind of holding some resistance here at the cloud, so just be careful of that. Looks like a massive kind of head and shoulders type situation right here. So it might come back down and test that 200-day moving average at some point. So Harvey, yeah, Tesla. Let's take a look. Good ones, Tesla and Shop. So Tesla's looking pretty good here. Like I said, if this pops up here, we can see the trend line as it goes up there. Let's see if that pops up for us here again. Yep, there it is. So it's holding trend. So just watch to see if it closes below today's lows, and then we might get a little bearish on it. And then Shop is so tricky. It really was, starting to break out of that corrective channel, which I'm not sure if it's going to pop up right here. It should. Okay, it broke out of the corrective channel here. It worked its way up to the cloud like it's supposed to. Now it gave an upper shadow today. So maybe it'll come back down and retest the channel here, and we'll just see, right? This could be a wave 1. Maybe it's working on wave 2, and then we'll see a wave 3 up, right? Because we're expecting a wave 5, right? Because here we'd say 5, 3, but this could be A, B, C. Sorry, A, B, C. So that would be 3, 3, 5. So we'd expect a 5-wave move up to get to wave C before a big flush on that one. So keep an eye on that. Emmanuel, what's going on? Good to see you. Hey, ILMN. Yeah, nice move right there today. I love the close over this recent pivot levels. The only thing that concerns me here is that resistance right there. So just be careful with that if I didn't draw that already. TWLO. Again, nice one here. As long as it closes above, today's high bullishly, we might see a move up to the cloud. And then Zoom. Yeah, if it goes above the resistance. So Zoom, had some interesting moves today. It really did. So you can see right here, it is right at resistance. So a nice close above it would be great. But then the only problem is it goes into more resistance after that. So it really needed to make the move back here. We needed it to kind of go that way, and it didn't quite do it. So it's just kind of making this kind of consolidated ascending triangle right here. So just be careful with that. But yeah, I like if you get resistance. Absolutely. Session, if you have a second, why would someone want to use a log graph instead of normal graphs? Sometimes I think you can get, I know some folks use it with Elliott Wave. Sometimes you can get like a better flow chart. They use it with line charts, and you can fit kind of like more of a macro period. So if you're going over a major time frame and you kind of want to consolidate it into a chart, you can use the log period. Some people are able to trade successfully with it, but more long-term type stuff. I don't mess with it. Superstar, when you say work its way down to the cloud, do you mean it could drop even more tomorrow? Possibly superstar. So, that's one of the things that we look for, right? Like so with Google, for instance. So, um, right. So everything's worked, right, with the market, right? So here you can see it worked its way down to the cloud, right? It doesn't just drop straight to it, right? So there's some days where it kind of came up, a little green and all that stuff. So we're up here right now. So if it did close here, it could work its way down here, meaning like it could be a little of an up day, down day, up day. But what if it did confirm below here? That would imply that the trend is changing and it's working its way back down, right? Now, I mean, we could have a black swan event and it could just flush down, but it might take a couple weeks or something like that to get it. Looks like maybe December or something. Just saying, yeah, just a possibility. So enjoy the apparel. Nvidia, nice one. Yeah, that was quite a move today. Had a nice move up at the open. We'll write about that this weekend in the newsletter. Really kind of get into that. So for that very very strong move today, but it also gave that inside day up as well, right? We already took those levels up. Those are some key levels that we went through on the videos tonight. But yeah, it is big move up, and it's kind of holding these levels pretty well. So I know this is a sloppy chart, guys, but it's not as sloppy as that one. So good. Hope you can see that. Let me see if I got that other chart up here. Yeah, there. It is holding trend, right? Good. Charles, what's going on? So what are we learning here? I guess some stock stuff, and we did a little option stuff in the beginning. So yeah. Session, thank you. Appreciate you. Appreciate everybody for tuning in tonight. Great discussion. I hope you guys found that helpful, like looking at chart patterns on option charts, right? You can see that you can kind of trade option charts almost as well as you could trade the stock chart itself too, right? It just gets a little bit funkier with its spreads and momentum and things like that. So other than that, great chart request tonight. Really appreciate everybody. If you're new here, definitely subscribe on YouTube so you can catch future live streams and other videos that I do about the market, right? So that are all designed to help you improve your trading. So I hope everybody has a great evening, and thank you again, everybody, for tuning in and for your support. Also, check out the links in the description if you get a chance, and have a great evening. And remember your risk first and stay safe so you can stay in the game. And I'll talk to you guys soon.